Hey, what's happening? Welcome back to Logical Republican. Thank you for stopping in again today. Once more, if you like what you see, like what you hear, please hit the like button. If you'd like to get this on a regular basis, please hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to share it with a like-minded person, please do so. And if you'd like to piss off that liberal Democrat that you work with, share it with them and get the reaction. Always a fun time. Let's dive right into this. Welcome to the Kamala Harris for President campaign. Joe Biden is past his prime. Duh! Newsflash. He was past his prime in 2008 when the weird old Uncle Joe jokes were swirling around. It was like Barack saying, Joe, just don't say something stupid. Don't have a senior moment. Don't screw this up. Please, okay? He was past his prime when he decided to run for president in 2020. Of course he was. He stumbled and fumbled his way through the campaign, but the Democrats pulling the strings, the puppet masters, knew that he was the only one who could actually beat Trump. It sure wasn't Buttigieg, and it sure wasn't Kamala, and it sure wasn't Pocahontas or any of the other merry dwarves that were running around trying to get together and insult Trump the most. No. But Joe's been stumbling and bumbling and mumbling for much of the last 4 years, but the sheltered ostrich head in the sand liberals had no clue that Joe was this far gone, that he was into this delusional state of life because the mainstream media covered everything up. They were saying it was trick photography, or it was taken out of context, or something. It was always an excuse. It was always something when there was video of him wandering aimlessly or tripping on stairs going up or down in an airplane stairwell, or when he was pooping his pants or something, right? It was always something. It was taken out of context, or it was trick photography. But the presidential debate a couple of weeks ago put all of this in display. Where on earth did this come from? How did he get so old so fast? He's been old for 20 years. He's belonged in a senior citizens home or nursing home for the past, 10. He's incompetent. He's senile. He's old. I don't know what he is. There are rumors that there have been Parkinson's disease experts visiting him over the last week or the last month. Does he have Parkinson's? Could be. I mean, if he does, poor guy. I mean, I don't wish any ill will on the man. I'm sure he's a decent human being. He's just a horrible, horrible president. But, Biden has been sheltered. He's been coddled by the media. He's had the strings pulled by the Democrat National Committee. I don't know who is pulling the strings. Somebody is back there making the decisions and being the puppet master. Who is it? I don't know. But what I do know is that Biden spent a week sequestered to prepare for the debates. And he still screwed up so badly that CNN was calling for him to step aside that evening. Van Jones in tears. I love the man. He said, I worked for the man. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, the 78-year-old guy, the other old guy in this race, had been campaigning on the West Coast and just got off a plane and seemed alert and spry and full of energy that evening. I mean, maybe Donald wasn't, fully on his game, but my God, he looked like a 17-year-old winning a sprint. Then Joe, who just sat there with a blank stare on his face. Then Biden appears on an ABC interview with spoon-fed questions from George Stephanopoulos. That card-carrying liberal and former aide to Bill Clinton to right the ship. Now, Joe, tell me about, come on. You want to talk about a layup, a slam dunk, the easiest of easiest interviews by a friendly. Well, that didn't work out too well, did it? Right? And then he tries to pander once again to black voters, as Democrats do every single election cycle. They're gone during the time they're in office, but every time they're up for re-election, oh, look what I did for you. Look what I've done for you. I've done this or I've done that or I've whatever. Just pandering. And he was interviewed on a black-owned Philadelphia radio station. Okay, he screwed that one up too, even though it was later leaked that the White House provided a list of 8 questions they could ask Old Man Joe. The poor lady who did the interview was fired for letting this out of the bag. I'm sure the station ownership knew about it, but they didn't, they claimed they didn't. Oh, we're all about integrity and we don't pander to anybody. Now, what happens next will be really interesting and somewhat troubling because I don't think Joe Biden could beat Donald Trump. Donald Trump would beat the living corpse that is Joe Biden in the November election. I firmly believe that. I think most polls are saying that. And I think even if you don't like Donald Trump and you're a huge Joe Biden fan and you would vote for Joe Biden's head in a bottle of blue fluid, you would agree with me on that. However, if he does step aside, all bets are off. Now, if the DNC feels bypassing Kamala Harris would be bad theater, then Joe could be pressured to step aside before the election and have Harris take over as the POTUS. This scenario would solve multiple problems. One, there have already been posts online about, oh, they don't want a black woman president, or apparently they don't like me, or whatever, always playing the race card, right? But number one, this would eliminate the potential for infighting within the Democrats for who is best suited to lead the ticket and being able to beat Donald Trump, okay? So if Stumbling Joe steps aside and she gets sworn in, all of a sudden she's president of the United States. She's the first this, the first that. She checks this box, she checks that box, blah, 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 blah. It would be virtually impossible for anybody to overtake her, right? She would lead the ticket, and then it would be up to whomever to pick whomever the vice president or her running mate would be. It would also silence their racist posts that the Harris team would certainly plant online and within the liberal press if she didn't get the nod. Right? Okay, so she didn't get the nod because she's black, or she's brown, or she married a Jewish guy, or something, right? She uses a gas stove. I don't know. It would be something. And it would save Gavin Newsom and his hair for another election when they actually need him. Okay? Because Gavin Newsom is, God, he is the heir apparent. They are grooming him, and he has become properly woke and properly liberal and done all the right things to win all the woke squad supporting voters. So let's save Gavin for another day, or hell, put Gavin on the ticket as the running mate. I don't know. But Joe is not going quietly. He's had calls with various high-powered Democrats around the country trying to drum up support. His wife, Jill, you know her, the not medical doctor that Whoopi Goldberg suggested would make a fantastic Surgeon General. She really, really likes being First Lady. And she is not going to willingly give up her throne anytime soon. She's probably fine with the hologram version, like when Tupac or Prince did those concerts, or Eazy-E with Dr. Dre at the Super Bowl. And they had the hologram of Eazy-E up there with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Yeah, they're fine with Joe being a hologram as long as she gets to sleep in the presidential bedroom. She is not going to give this up easily. Hell no. Anyway, so this past Monday, a few days ago, Joe wrote a letter to influential Democrats trying to just illustrate how he still has the chops to beat Trump by essentially bashing him, because that's all they can do. They bash. Trump this, Trump that. Over and over again, rather than stating why he's actually the right guy for the job. But let's just bash Trump, because that's really all they can do. They don't really have much to stand on. Trump will do this, Trump will do that, the end of democracy, you can't kill your babies anymore, the illegals will get sent home, whatever. The Democrat convention is little more than a month out. And if Joe can hold out that long and stay hidden and stay sheltered by his handlers, maybe the shots of adrenaline will take effect so he can be on, during the convention. It's only a few hours. They really only need him for a few hours on stage. And as long as he looks good, he's on the ticket, right? He'll be there in November as long as he doesn't screw up the convention and you get the mainstream liberal press to say, oh, it was just a fumble. Joe is back. He's the man. He can do this. They only need him for a few hours at the convention. Come on, Joe. But my guess, actually, is that he will somehow screw it up. And at some point, Biden will step aside, either right before or right after the convention, and pass the buck to Kamala. And hope the euphoria of a female president keeps the voters' enthusiasm in gear until November. Oh my God, she's so wonderful. She's so pretty. She's so presidential. I love her hair. Whatever. Nobody likes her. All the people that say they would state that they would vote for Joe Biden on life support, right, would be saved from looking more idiotic than they already are by having a living, breathing, viable candidate who has literally done nothing since taking office. Nothing. Kamala Harris, as I stated before, is this generation's Dan Quayle. Remember Dan Quayle? A person nobody likes, nobody respects, and does nothing. That is what Kamala Harris has been in the nearly 4 years she's been VP. Nobody likes her. My guess also is that Harris, if she does take this over, will have a debate with Trump. Okay? There's supposed to be one more presidential debate scheduled later this year. And my guess is that if she's there, she will study hard, and then they're going to come up with some zingers. Well rehearsed, just like when just like in the Democrat debate, when she threw that zinger at Joe Biden. I was one of those children that was bused, and look at me now. You're a racist, Joe Biden. Something like that, right? So she's going to have a couple of zingers that the press is going to go gaga over. It's going to have headlines. There will be memes. There will be sound bites. Look what she did to Trump. All well rehearsed, right? There's going to be a trigger word where he says something, or there's going to be a question, and then she's going to veer off into another direction, throw the zinger that has nothing to do with the topic or the question, and she's going to be just veiled as a hero for just throwing down and busting out and crushing Trump. Yeah, she is going to be the Messiah for the Democrats. And as bad as Harris is as a candidate and a politician, she has a better chance to beat Trump than Biden does probably at this stage. She has a better chance to beat Trump probably than than Buttigieg or, I don't know, any of the other Democrats, maybe outside of Gavin Newsom. But let's face it, Russia, China, and all the other countries that want to take advantage of us are licking their chops right now, and that is scary. I mean, come on. If this was China and Winnie the Pooh, King of China, was in this sad state, they would take him out back and shoot him, right? They would come up with some story that he's passing the baton, he's passing the torch, he wanted to spend more time with his family, whatever. He would ride off into the sunset, and then some new young spry guy who has even more evil intentions would take over. That's the way they would do it, okay? Now, us, maybe not so much. Nonetheless, welcome to the Kamala Harris for President campaign. It is starting right about now. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with a friend, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. See ya.